past, I've always worked on the chassis or the cooling system or the engine, etc. Now I'm going to start working on the interior. And one of the things I always wanted to do is clean up this interior and actually make it more, I would say, luxury. 240s aren't really known for luxury. And after you change all the bushings and under the polyurethane, the engine suspension and everything, bring a lot of chassis noise into it. So I rigged up a camera here just on a tripod to basically show you, I want you guys to hear how loud this car is before and after I make some changes. So right now I'm driving down my road, which you can obviously tell is a little bumpy, especially with the bushings and that's all hard. I'm right now doing about 4th gear, 40 miles an hour, and this is kind of what the car sounds like. So while it's not deafening or overpowering, after about 30 to 40 minutes of this, your ears get a little tired. So I'm going to take a left up here. Let's go jump up, get to about 60 miles an hour. That will give you a little bit more of a feel of what it's like. Alright, now I jumped on kind of a state highway here. Doing 60 miles an hour by the speedo, cruising in 5th gear with the cruise control on. This gives you a little bit more of an idea of driving the car back and forth. Maybe it's a daily driver back and forth to work. Gives you a little idea of how much more noise, even at kind of a highway speed. At 70 is even worse than this. You get a lot more noise. You can start getting some road noise translating through. I do have coilovers on the car with a 5-lug swap, so the bearings do help out. But you've got so much more hard components in between, even with just hard bushings. And now you need to start focusing on how do you quiet this car down to make it, I want to call it luxurious. And that's a figurative term for a 240SX. But I want to make this car quieter. So now that you've got a baseline of what the car sounds like before I do anything, let's get the car back to the house and I'll explain how I'm going to start changing the interior and give you an idea of what's going to happen over the next video or two. Alright, now that I've got the car home, as you can see, I've already started taking out some of this interior. Now, in order to cut down this road noise here, actually what I'm going to install is a bunch of Boom Mat from DEI. Now this will actually go on, comes in the kits. It's a 24 by 12 inch sheet. I'm actually going to take the carpet out, of course vacuum all the interior out. You can see some fun stuff. Hey, I think it's a Nintendo game. I actually found that inside the car. Fun stuff. I've got plenty of money in here, some loose nuts. Hopefully they're not behind the wheel. And I'm going to take all the carpet out, etc. I did buy a new carpet set from Stock Interiors. After reading a bunch of reviews, they seem to be the best ones to buy, so I do have a new one. It's actually the dark gray color. It's the sample I could find that was most close to OEM. So once I get this carpet out, vacuum it out, lay down the Boom Mat here, and then I'll show you, once the carpet's out and vacuumed, I'll show you how I'm laying this out. Alright, now that we've got all the carpet out and all the interior out, it's time to start prepping this for going back in. Now, to get the carpet out, pretty much I've taken out all the interior. You can see all the way to the lug panels, all the interior panels, up to the, I guess you call it the door line here, the window line. Everything down is off. Door panels, interior panels, etc. All that's come out so that I can get to this area here. Now, I did take the dash off. On the S14, it's not required. You can actually, the area right up here under the top of the trans tunnel, and that is actually perforated from the factory. All you need to do is basically pull it and it will tear away and come around the center section for the beam. But I figured, hey, since I'm doing this and I only want to do it once, I took the dash off and I scrubbed everything underneath there, trying to get as much dirt out of here as possible. To get the floor ready for the Boom Mat, all I've done is I vacuumed it out with the shop vac. I then came through with a scrub brush and a wet rag, wiped it all down, and then vacuumed it again. So it's giving me a nice good surface to go onto. Now, as you can see kind of in the foreground, I do already have some Boom Mat down. This stuff is very simple. It comes in a big sheet. It's a 12 by 24 sheet. It's probably about a 1/16 inch thin or so. Just using a basic razor knife. This will conform to everything. Now, I've actually layered it underneath the dash insulator here about 1 inch. Start prepping it down, and I've put it all against the wall here where your kick panels go, where your scuff plates go here. Working my way inside, and as you can see, I've got it all the way up to the edge of the the transmission tunnel here. Stuff is great to cut. It's very easy to put down. You can buy the roller from DEI, or I'm just going to use my fingers. Make sure it contours to everything as you put it down, and you just peel back a section, wipe it down nice and good. Do another section, wipe it down again. Do the last section, wipe it down. Cut it into sections, overlap it. The basic goal here is coverage of everything to reduce the amount of noise coming through here. Okay, now after actually a few hours of doing this, this is what you end up with. This is the 20-piece interior kit that DEI sells, and it will cover pretty much all the way from the dash insulator all the way back. You can see I've covered under the floor pan, seat rail, up to the console, all the way up to the opening here right at the rear seats. Now I've actually gone ahead, you can see I've actually done down in the fender well there. That way I cover the wheel well all the way across. See in the far one there, and now down through the rear seat, the front seat, and the floor pan there. Now it's just on time to bring out the carpet from Stock Interiors, start fitting it in, and then start assembling the pieces back in. Alright, welcome back. Now as you can see, I do actually have most of the interior for the car back in. The carpet itself is from Stock Interiors. This is the dark gray color that they have. It's actually a little lighter than I thought it was going to be, but it's a good color. Probably matches pretty well to the car. When it comes in, it's actually molded to the floor pan itself. There's no holes in it. So I would recommend starting, if anybody's going to do this way, take your OEM set that you actually take out of the car from the original, lay it over top here, and for the holes for the shifter and the parking brake, I would cut those, and I would cut them smaller than the OEM. That way you can fit it over and then trim it from there. At that point on, you can expand out either to the rear of the seats, make sure it's underneath the seat itself, underneath the rear panels, along the doors, etc. Don't cut those until you put the carpet in the car, and then you can start custom fitting it around. Make sure it fits under everything. That way you don't cut it too short, then have to go back and try and repair it or duct tape it or however you're going to try and do it. Do it the hard way. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a few hours to do all this, but once you do it, it's going to come out great. Now I just need to get the console back in, the seats, the steering wheel itself, and we'll get back going, get this car for a drive. Okay, now you can just kind of see here the finished product. Kind of give you a zoom in here, looking at the carpet, and I do have the floor mats put back in. So you can see it fit along the door edge there. It does fit well, fits very nice under the carpet. Actually move the seat up here, you can see behind where it fits the carpet there. So you need to put the rear floor mat in. Let's go to the passenger side. Okay, here's the passenger side. Kind of just look down here. You see the console does fit very well to there. I do have the floor mat back in. Fits very well along the door here. Let's just go ahead and move the seat up. Kind of look behind. Rear floor mat's in. So it does fit very well all around. The color does match pretty well to the original, maybe a touch lighter. And now it's time to go for the test drive, see how it all turned out. Okay, now just as I did before, I'm actually driving the same road that I had previously at about the same speed. I'm doing about 43 to 44 miles an hour. Now you can take a listen with the DEI Boom Mat installed. The car is just as bumpy, but yet most of the noise is now reduced, mostly dampened out. Now we're going to go jump on the highway, get the same baseline. Okay, now here I am on the highway.